welcome back to Getting to Know You. This week, our guest is Molly Ambrose, or Mrs. Ambrose, if you are a student in St. Sebastian School. Molly, I've been wanting to interview Molly for a long time. I think she's the first, this is the first power couple, because we've already interviewed Dylan. So Molly, right? How are you?
Yes. Why didn't we do this together?
No, because I need to fill 2 weeks.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yes, we are the Seb's power couple. I have never thought of us that way.
Have you and Dylan been referred to as a power couple before?
We have not. This is the first. So I'm taking it though. I'm going to run with it.
I am joking aside, I do think of you guys as kind of like model parishioners. I mean, you guys are so active in the parish, and you're always like willing to help, and you're very joy filled. So I really do mean that in a real way too. So thanks for who you are.
Well, we were actually waiting to get to that point. So Dylan, which most people might not know, was in the Navy. So we moved around every few years.
Yeah.
And I would try to get involved with the kids' things, but then we'd leave. So this is when we got here, we were both ready to jump in and both get involved because we knew this is permanent. We're here for good. So we were just waiting for the opportunity, and here it is. So
how long have you guys been here?
Doing it.
How long have you guys been here?
Oh, we just had our 10-year anniversary of buying our house in August of 2011.
Ah, congratulations.
Yeah, 10 years. It's flown by.
And right in the neighborhood.
Yes, on 49th Street. We lovingly call it low mount. Not quite high mount. We are definitely more of a low mount block. So we lovingly refer to ourselves as low mount, and it's 5 blocks from school. It's great.
I love that joke. That's a good joke.
We have shirts made every year for our block party. Low mount shirts.
Every year you do?
Every year.
Oh man. Okay. I want to.
Yeah. I think the last one was we're the champagne of blocks. And it's got a Miller High Life stolen logo. Don't tell any IP attorneys. So every year we do something to celebrate that we're low mount.
There is a lot of copyright attorneys that watch this presentation, but I think.
I mean, it's really different. It's totally different.
but it's another example of how you guys do stuff with such joy. You live your lives with a lot of joy.
We do.
And you're busy.
It's better.
You're busy. You've got how many? You've got several kids.
We have 4 children. Although I jokingly say I have 5 in the summers, because our youngest Archie, his little buddy Graham Sanders, which I'm sure you'll have Katie or Bo on here at some point.
I will.
Graham's at our house every day. So I have my 5th child, summer child, Graham. But really, I only have 4 natural children. Jack is 16 and driving, and he goes to Marquette High. He's just started junior year. He is very active in hockey, so he is out and about. I think he's gone into practice right now. Kate is just started DSHA. She's a freshman. She's loving it.
It's going good.
She's going great. She came home the second day of school and said, high school is so much better than middle school.
I won't tell Miss Grams.
No. It is actually a beautiful thing. She loved this past 8th grade year, which seems ironic given the year it was.
Yeah.
But all the 8th graders were together in one class, in the gigantic class in their church hall campus, we called it. And she loved it. She loved being all together. So it is not a negative to Sebs or middle school in any way. It's just the joy of moving on to something bigger and better, and she's loving it.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. That's exciting. Moving on.
He's off at rugby practice, wondering who's picking her up, and I don't know, someone will. and then we have Evie, who is a 7th grader at Sebs. Evie loves life. She loves school. She loves everything. She's a little bowl-full joy. And so this beginning of the school year is no exception. And she's loving volleyball, which I'm very thankful to be able to play.
One of my favorite memories of Evie was when, I don't know what play it was. It was one of the Sebs plays, maybe Mary Poppins, maybe. And she was like this, like it was made for television.
it was like she was the star, yet she was a extra, I don't even know, broom, broom sweepers, whatever they're called. I'm like, all right.
Oh man, she stole it. She stole the show.
Yes, yeah. So she just got got a part. I think she's a Lost Boy.
Yeah. Peter
Picture.
Pan. Coming up in a few months. Buy your
Yeah.
tickets now.
Yeah, I actually just saw Maria today. She's one of the helpers in K5, where I spend a lot of my time right now. And she was telling me all about it. She's very excited.
Yes, it's good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it'll be great. And then we have Archie. Archie is in third grade. He is a bowl full of energy and is very active. He just left for soccer practice, and tomorrow he's hockey practice, and then he's going to do basketball. I mean, he just needs to move, so we get him moving.
Here's what I know about your family. I've seen it's an app, I believe, that you use. Can you show us the schedule, like how you and Dylan coordinate all the activities that your kids are in and stay safe and stay positive is what impresses me about you.
Okay, so can you see that?
Yep, I can. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That is just Saturday. Actually, wait, it's a couple things. Sorry, it cut off some things. It's there we go. That's Saturday.
Oh, wow.
So we have, starting at 7 a.m.
That's hockey at 7.
Yeah, hockey's at 7. It looks like it's backwards on my end, but maybe it's straight on yours. Yeah.
No, it looks good. You have to feed your cat all day, it says.
Kate has to feed our neighbor's cat. Mm-hmm. And then we end it with 2 going to a homecoming.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Do they have dates?
Oh, get to drive that around, do all that. So yeah.
Do they have dates to the dance?
They do. Oh. Jack is taking a fellow Seb's alum.
Nice.
Anna Levitsky.
Oh, fun.
Or she's taking him. I guess it's DSHA's homecoming. And then Kate is taking fellow Seb's alum, Luke Murray.
Oh, fun. I am sure your children will love that we're broadcasting their social life.
I should, put a plug. They're all just going as friends, as far as I know.
You're very good. Very good.
I mean, Jack doesn't really tell me anything, so who knows if we're not friends, but whatever.
Not for real though, like when you show me that calendar, like you guys are so like you're beyond busy, but you also are so active in the parish and just in life in general, and you guys have such a really positive disposition. How do you and Dylan do that?
Oh gosh. I would say the positivity probably stemmed from Dylan first.
Really?
He's always been incredibly positive. There's no time to be negative. It just puts you in a bad place. It puts you in a rut. It makes you just see the bad and everything. And life is too busy, way too short to live like that. So
do you choose it or does it come naturally?
You know what? It definitely comes naturally, Dylan. And it is now natural for me. At first I was like, it's grumpy and negative at times. But just kind of, there's no need for it. It's not doing me any good. So now it's just much more natural.
Do you, well, that's cool. So it was kind of bred from your relationship kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I'd always say I was on the positive end, but nowhere near like Dylan was. So I think just combined, we fed each other's positivity, and, not to say we don't have our moments, but we can also vent to each other and then put it behind and see what good can come out of whatever.
I am serious. So I think a lot of people notice it. So thanks for being an example. Yeah.
Well, thanks. I mean, honestly, part of it is too, for me, going into speech therapy, it's a special education. You have to be flexible. You have to be positive. You have to roll with things. If you dwell on what's not working, you'll never help anyone.
Yeah.
So there's just that ability of whatever is needed, do it. And if it's not working, don't complain about it. Don't be negative. Just try to make it better. So
it sounds so easy when you say it.
But what's the alternative, right?
To be crabby.
The alternate, yeah. And who wants that?
No, no.
I'm not gonna help. I'm not gonna help kids get any better.
Yeah.
If I'm crabby and negative, I'm not gonna have a great working environment. I'm not going to have a great relationship with my spouse or my kids if if you're always dwelling on the negative. It's hard. It's hard to be around negative.
It is hard. Yeah. Do you think any of it stems from your experience with rhythmic gymnastics?
You are the worst. All right. Full disclosure, I was a rhythmic gymnast as a teenager about 4 lifetimes ago. You know what? I will have to say part of it is because
I had an inkling.
All my coaches were from Russia, and that is a very different mentality for coaching for anything. And so they were very negative. Not that they were negative people or bad people. They were actually really sweet, nice people, but that's all they knew, right? That is how you do athletics in Russia. Well, it was USSR then.
Yeah.
So from that, that was part of it. I had to really shift to, I was a diver then after I retired at age 15 from rhythmic gymnastics. I dove, and I remember talking to my coaches and my teammates one day and saying, I don't know if they were complaining or whatever. So I'm like, what are you all complaining about? This is amazing. Your coach didn't just call you fat. Your coach didn't tell you you're terrible and you're slow and you have to work hard, they're being positive and giving you good positive reinforcement. And so I did recognize, I think I was like 17, that positive is always better.
Yeah. No, it's good.
So,
It's
yeah.
good.
But yes, I guess I never really thought about it too much, but yes, rhythmic gymnastics did help form a little bit of how I am today. And I competed at such a high level that after that, I realized I don't get too nervous. I don't get too stressed out because there's no need to.
It's good. Now this is the part we're gonna cut to a video of you doing rhythmic gymnastics.
OMG.
I'm just kidding. All right.
Okay. Well, good luck trying to figure out which one I am.
If I worked really hard, I bet you I could get a copy of it, but I will.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that. But yeah, if one is ever found, I'm not telling anybody which. So I was on the group team.
Yes.
US rhythmic gymnastics group team. And there were 6 of us on the floor at once. So good luck figuring out which one is me.
Yeah, because you actually once showed me a video and you pointed to someone, and for about 45 seconds, I watched someone who wasn't you.
Yeah, and then I'm like, wait, that's not me.
It was a little grainy, but I will say this is you've been patient. It's a little inside joke between us because I watched rhythmic gymnastics. It's hard to say. Rhythmic.
I can help you. I'm a speech therapist.
Please.
Rhythmic
gymnastics. Thank you. We'll talk about speech in a second. But I saw it this summer in the Olympics. I was fascinated. It was by far the most entertaining thing I saw. And then I told everybody I saw that week, I watched rhythmic gymnastics. And then someone's like, well, Ambrose did that. I was like,
yeah. There's not many of us out there.
No. I didn't know it was a thing until summer of 2021.
Most people don't. So Dylan has this big running joke whenever he tells someone, once someone's learned that I was a rhythmic gymnast, he'll be like, quick, throw a ball at her. She'll catch it with her neck.
I've actually seen it done.
Oh, no, I have not. I couldn't do it.
Okay, thank you for indulging me in that. That brought me a lot of joy. So, hey, you're a speech pathologist.
I am.
How'd you get into that? Or why?
Honestly, I knew I wanted to work with children.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted to work in schools. I knew I could not handle being with the same kids all day, every day. I couldn't be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom was a teacher. My mom was a kindergarten teacher. And so she said, she introduced me to speech therapy. Mm-hmm. And so I grew up in Detroit, but I moved to Milwaukee to go to Marquette because they had a speech therapy program. And my brothers went there. So I did the intro class and loved it. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. It's one of those professions that it's really like 4 different careers in one. So
Meaning?
what I do is working with children in a school is, to me, a totally different career or profession than somebody who's working with adults in the hospitals.
Oh,
It's
sure.
totally different, but so but I love that. I love that you can change things up.
Yeah.
So I like change. So that was really appealing to me.
Good.
And so I went into it and I did the freshman 101 speech therapy and loved it. And so finished it at Marquette and then went to UWM for grad school. And I learned during graduate school that I really definitely needed to work with kids. I definitely need to work in a school. I just don't have the capacity to work in hospitals. I was working with adults who had MS or ALS or just any degenerative disease, and you do swallow studies where you see if somebody can swallow food without it going into their lungs. And everyone gets to the point where they can't. And so if they have in their their medical records, they don't want a feeding tube, then that's it.
Wow.
It's the final stages. So I was in swallow studies where, men who are my age now who were in their final few weeks of life because they couldn't swallow anymore. And I would be crying, trying to tell the family, and they're crying. I just realized I can't do that. It's probably unprofessional. I'm sitting here crying, telling you that your spouse can't swallow anymore and there's a few weeks left. So I just realized I can't. There's special people in the world who can do that job, but I can't. So I ended up in schools, and I worked in MPS for a year and a half. And then Dylan and I got married, and he was joined the Navy, and we moved all over. And I worked in Texas, and then I worked in then I had 2 kids in Italy, so I didn't work. And then I moved to DC and I worked at a private practice. Had Evie there, and then we moved here and had Archie, and have been at Seb's ever since.
What was it like having 2 kids in Italy?
It was great. It was different. I mean, I had my first child. We moved there. I was 8.5 months pregnant.
Wow.
We lived in a hotel for a month till we found a place to move into. And so I remember going, we didn't have any of our stuff because they ship it and it takes like a month and a half to get your belongings. So we got our place and our move-in date was set. And I'm talking to the woman at the base, and she said, okay, your move-in date says to like July 6th or 7th. I don't know. And I'm like, well, I'm due July 2nd. Is there like any way we can have the stuff before? And this is what I appreciate about Italy. I think a pregnant woman is the top of the line there. Like, it's the highest ranking person. So she was like, oh, you're due Friday. I got it. We're getting your stuff Thursday. Whatever. And I'm like, all right.
That's
and Jack
great.
came a little bit late. So, I mean, it was could have been stressful, but it was all right. And the only difference is my parents came for a couple of weeks, but then it was just me,
Wow.
So the people who came to visit us, we had just met like a month before in the hospital or at home. And so that was a little scary, being a first-time parent with no family, no friends.
Heck yeah.
Even, and you don't know how you're going to be postpartum.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Dylan, you're literally the only person here who knows me. So you need to really watch me because nobody's going to know. But then by the time, and then we had Kate back to back. So by that time it was a little harder too, because I'm like, wow, I still have no family, but I have friends to help us out with 2 little ones. But it was great. We traveled all around the world. We took Kate to Istanbul when she was 7 weeks old.
Wow.
I talked to the doctor. I'm like, what do you think? And they're like, oh yeah, she's fine. Go ahead. Okay. So it was amazing. It was really, really amazing. I mean, Kate was baptized at the Vatican.
Seriously?
Seriously. And I'll say this, it was easier to baptize her at the Vatican than like Jack in Detroit.
Oh, like, don't say it's Saint Sebastian's.
No. It just, I mean, paperwork, why everything. It was just super simple. So that was an amazing experience. Amazing.
Wait, is Kate's baptism registered at St. Peter's?
It is.
Do you know every sacrament that happens to Kate will be recorded at the place of her baptism?
I know.
That is so cool.
I actually learned that with Jack, because Jack was baptized in Detroit and that parish is closed. So
Yeah.
I was trying to get a copy and whatever. And that's when I learned that all the sacraments are recorded on the baptismal.
So they should have been relocated at some place that you can find.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I have Kate's. Oh, close our window. Someone's mowing their lawn.
Oh.
So yeah, that was pretty special, pretty amazing to have that experience, which we never would have had if we didn't get stationed in Italy.
No, that's so cool. You guys have lived a lot of life.
We have. I mean, I was joking that, the rhythmic gymnastics was like 4 lifetimes ago, but it really, really was. It's we have lived an exciting life. Yeah.
It's cool.
It's been amazing. We feel really blessed.
And now you are the speech pathologist at St. Sebastian's School.
I am. So, what's funny is the origin stories. Dylan got a job here in Milwaukee in May. He was offered the job in May. So while we were living in Washington, D.C. So I said, okay, Jack was going to be going into 1st grade and Kate into K4. So I said, well, I'm going to fly to Milwaukee and I'm going to find a school. So I flew in, and for 2 days, I toured 9 schools.
Wow.
And oddly found a house by happenstance. And I walked into Seb's and was like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. So happy because I found a house right near it. So perfectly. I mean, we wanted a school that had that academic rigor and diversity and faith. So it was like the trifecta right there. So the kids started here and I was at home. Evie was only 2 when we moved here. So I was home with her. And at that time, K4 was only half day. So I was home half day. And so Cheryl Warner, who used to be the vice principal, was entering all the parent data information. And she saw that I was a speech therapist. And she calls me and she's like, this might seem weird, but I know you're home with 2 little ones. Would you by any chance want to come work with our students who have IEPs for speech therapy? We have this PAL program the girls could go to. It's great. Basically set it all up for me.
Wow.
I met with her and I'm like, you know what? I would love to do that. And I literally just found out I was pregnant with Archie. So I'm like, I'm in. I can finish this school year, but I'm going to need a maternity leave. She's like, okay. So I started off 1 day a week. And it has just evolved to now I'm there 4.5 days a week. So I love it.
We should just round that up to 5.
And we really should, but it's nice to have a few hours to get my family life together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's a little bit of like, oh, I have time to go to the grocery store. I have time to make 8 appointments, or I have a time to take a kid to an appointment, or all those kind of things. So it's nice to just have a few hours each week.
We'll give you the half day. It's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I want to talk about your role at St. Sebastian's, but I want to also, I don't want to miss your faith, the conversation with faith. You talked about when you were looking at schools, the faith component was a big deal. Kids baptized at the Vatican. And what's the relationship of faith been like in your life?
Okay, it's funny. I was talking to Dylan about that recently. I was prepping a little bit because I'm not your traditional my faith I play out more through action.
Yeah.
Than I am contemplative and prayerful, if that makes sense.
That makes a ton of sense.
I have room for that, but I find more of a drive and connection with my faith, with God, through action.
Yeah.
So it's more of what I'm doing than and how I'm doing it to to really make me feel connected to my faith than when I stop and pray. So sometimes it's hard I have to remember to stop and pray and reflect for that faith piece of it. Cause I'm more of a, okay, what am I being called to do as my faith is leading me? So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's definitely more of, like each year I try to think, I really want to increase my connection with God through prayer and reflection. And then I find myself still doing more and more action. So I don't know how well it's working, but.
Well, you know, that is the classic Martha and Mary debate that the church has about, do you sit in contemplation or are you active in service? Your lifestyle, I mean, this is how faith can fit into an app like that. I mean, you're so busy, but I also think it's an expression of faith. I always tell people that my faith didn't make sense to me until I went on a mission trip when I was 17 years old, because it was like I needed to be that servant-hearted part of faith is what clicked in my brain, that story of Jesus washing the disciples' feet. So what you're saying makes perfect sense, is what I'm saying. And I would say to you, in front of the millions watching, cut yourself a break about cut yourself a break about the to help me.
I'm here for you, John.
Thank you. Because that comes when it comes, and it's not like we judge faith based on how people practice their faith.
Right. You know, I had a conversation with my dad. So I went to a public grade school, Detroit public grade school. And I went to my CCD classes as a child, but now as a child, I didn't get out of it what I should have. And so, you know, we kind of joke in the house that I know the least about Catholicism from the kids being able to have that experience at Seb's and learn everything they learn. And so I asked my dad one day, like, why is it that I just don't know as much as I should? And he said, that's because like my mom and he had actually thought about it and were very strategic in how we were raised in our faith. They were like, we sat, you know, they're 77 now. So they were born in the 40s and had a lot of their formation in the 50s. And my dad said he was always very put off by how everyone would come to church and know all the Bible verses and know the Bible stories and know everything. And then he'd watch their hypocrisy of how they treated other people. And it just really turned him off. So he and my mom really emphasized more of the action piece as a part of your faith and how you treat people, and those are a bigger part of their faith. And I didn't realize till literally talking to Dylan last week that I guess that is the same for me then.
Exactly right. Yeah, your parents sounded awesome. I also think people are like, oh, I don't know a lot about the faith. Well, wait, when you say that, what you're saying is I don't have all the head knowledge of the faith, but like and I'm going to go back to like your joy-filled presence. You have the heart knowledge of the faith and you live that.
Right. And yeah, and that's actually what my dad said. He's like, we wanted you to have the heart, not the mind of all the stories and sorry, all that brought
us. I because I know you, I'm sure you know more of that head knowledge than you think you do. It just might not be wrapped up in a nice box with a bow on it, you know.
Right. I mean, I do, but it'll be funny. The kids will, you know, tell me a story and I'm like, gosh, I don't remember that. Something from the Bible or you know, I was so appreciative last year. Archie had his first communion, and his teacher last year, Karen Kabachik, is just amazing and is so gifted in how she can explain her joy of faith to the kids. And Archie just ate it up. So he was telling me a story and I can't even remember what it was. And I thought, oh, is that the disciple who did it? Oh, good for you. I'm so glad. And So I'm hoping that, as we say, we pass on our faith. My parents definitely passed on the way faith drives them,
Yeah.
to me. And I'm hoping now that Dylan and I are also passing on that action piece of our faith. And with Sebs and Dylan and our community and myself as much as I can,
Yeah.
our children are going to have both pieces of that faith puzzle of the heart and the mind.
They're going to be the whole package.
I hope so.
No, you guys are doing a great job. Let's talk more about your involvement in the parish, and like you can talk a little bit about what it's been like to work at Sebs in the school and whatever you want to say about either of those communities.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely more of the school ministry piece of the parish. I love working there. I love my coworkers' devotion to the school, the parish, the children.
It's great loyalty.
It is, and it is just a deeply devoted, competent, energetic group to be a part of. I know a lot of new teachers come over are always very not taken aback, but appreciative of what we're trying to do and the culture and climate we're trying to maintain at Sebs, because it's a unique place. It feels good to be a part of such a unique Catholic school experience. I mean, and I was explaining to two of our we have a partnership with Mount Mary's OT department, and they have graduate level students who come and work at our school. And I was trying to explain to them the big picture of Sebs today. And I was like, it's such a unique Catholic school, and unique school in general, but specifically Catholic school, in that we are so diverse socioeconomically, racially, culturally, needs based. I mean, it's just it's a fun dynamic to be a part of. So I mean, that's my experience. I mean, there are hard days. There are days where gosh, we wish we could do more. There are days that are just fun and joyful, and it's great. But majority of the time, it's just a good experience to be a part of. I'm proud of what we do over there. I'm proud of the mission and the ministry. And yeah.
No, it's good. It's well said, and it's easily observed by anybody coming to check it out.
Good. I hope so.
Nate, my Nate always has said many times that one of the saddest days of his life, you told him that he was done with speech.
Right. I know. I just had to break the news to one of his classmates that he is graduated from speech as well. Because if you ask the students, well, what do you do at speech? Oh, we just play games. So I get out of class to go play games. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it. As long as as long as you're having fun. They don't realize how much they're working, but so I'll take it. But
one of the saddest days of my son's life was when you told him speech was over.
I know, but he's all right. He's doing great.
It shows the impact you made. So,
well, thanks.
Molly, my last question for you is: when you think about the future, what do you hope for?
Future. I really just hope for gratitude. I hope for everybody, myself, my children, my husband, my family, my coworkers, students I work with, everybody, just to have the gratitude coming off of the past year and a half. I am grateful to be able to get up each day and go to work and be at school and see the children and be around them. And I hope that's what we can move forward with. gratitude and learning from this exceptionally odd time. I think Nora Kleber is one of the teachers at school, and she said, they said it best, like, I'd like to get back to better. I'd like to get back to as normal as we can be, but even better because of what we learned from it. So that's what I want for the future. I want people to have gratitude, joy, and positivity. Because
I was just talking about gratitude in one of my classes, and I said it's impossible to like practice gratitude and not be happy.
Oh,
yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
No, you can't do it. You can't like name the things you're grateful for and then be sad.
Right. Well, that's true. I mean, I guess that's where I'm coming from of, every week I, pray when I'm at church, and tried more than just at church. I pray for my children's happiness. Like, I don't care what they do in life. I don't care what their professions are. I just want them to have happiness and joy in what they're doing. And you're right, you have to have gratitude to be able to enjoy.
Yeah, they're absolutely related.
Yeah. That's what I hope for in the future for everybody. In the country, in the world, and
the world, right? The world needs gratitude and joy. Let's hope for that for everyone.
We really do, because as we come full circle, it's hard to be around people when there's no joy and no positivity. So if everybody had more, the world would be a happier place.
Take after the Ambroses.
Oh, sure. What would the Ambroses do?
WWAD. What would the Ambroses do?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna get those made up, those bracelets.
Great. I'll wear one.
Sounds good. Hey, Molly, thank you so much for talking to us and sharing a lot. I learned some new things about you today. I was really happy to learn them, and thanks for sharing, and thanks for the positive, joyful, here's my gratitude moment. Thank you for being the positive, joyful person of our parish and our school.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was fun.
Absolutely. All right, we'll see you later.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.